With constant algorithm changes, it can be incredibly difficult to work out what to do, what's working, and how to be consistent with it. But I'm here to tell you your strategy probably isn't working. And here's a full breakdown of why and how to ensure that it does work and you get the fans that you deserve. Because imagine posting and immediately getting likes, immediately getting comments. Your DMs are full of people saying they love your music. Your story views are flying, and anytime you want to promote a song, a gig, some merchandise, people are there eagerly awaiting it. Well, it's totally doable, especially with these new algorithm changes. Well, the first thing that most of you have probably seen for quite a while now is the feed isn't chronological. So this has put a huge amount of pressure on all creators, but especially artists, because now it's not chronological. It's basing everything on engagement, because now your post will be pushed out if it's getting engagement. So this is likes, this is comments, this is saves, this is shares. Instagram wants to see that people are liking it so they can push it out to your followers more. This may seem frustrating, but it means that you can kind of hack it quite easily. It means that your content can be pushed out even more than it was before and pushed out to new people. And the easiest way of doing this is through captions. The post itself, yes, it's important, but the captions are where you can really push people to engage. You can share a huge caption now, basically tell a story, which gives you the ability to capture people, make them read, make them engage with the post, which means it's more likely to be pushed out to more people. So for example, if you want to post a live picture of you playing a gig, tell the story in the description, how you got to that point, how excited you were that you've sold out the event, or potentially something funny happened that night. Tell the story. Don't just put us playing Coco, because yeah, we can all see it. You don't need to explain the photo in the description. We have eyes. So use that space to really engage people. But as well as that, now, because it's not chronological, you don't need to post as much. It's all about engagement. So posting on the feed should only be for very important things, something special. And no, that does not mean a screenshot of your Spotify. Think about what people want to see, the insights into you as an artist. Use the things that you're doing in your career to share with your fans, rather than creating content for the sake of content. You could honestly post once a month and that'd be absolutely fine. Focus on quality over quantity. The main reason being as well, this feed is aesthetically pleasing. It's not for raw content anymore, and we'll go on to why later on in the video, but that feed is for aesthetically pleasing content, something that shows you as an artist, represents your brand. And the beauty of that is you can literally get press shots and live shots, all these aesthetically pleasing photos, and just dump them. Think of engaging captions, reply to all your comments, and Instagram will push it out. The main reason it needs to be aesthetically pleasing as well is industry professionals are looking at that. And we recently spoke to Mike Lopez, who was a Spotify editor for years, and he said that this was important. They want to see that they can guess your genre just by looking at your Instagram. And if you go to a Spotify editorial right now and go through all the artists on it and look at their Instagrams, you'll see this. They're aesthetically pleasing. It represents their sound. So use that feed post as a bit of a portfolio, which I think, and hopefully, will take the pressure off you. Next up, the huge one, which no one can ignore, is Instagram Reels. I think if you told me that Instagram Reels were going to be successful a couple of years ago, I would have thought you were stupid, because that's what TikTok is. But Instagram Reels have blown up. It's a way for artists to get discovered. So Instagram in the past was like a catch net. You could catch all of your fans from every other platform and keep them engaged on Instagram, whereas now it's that, plus a way to get discovered. So Reels are being pushed out massively by Instagram, because although they're being used by quite a few, they're not being taken advantage of by a majority. So if you are posting on Reels, they're more likely to push you out. Reels is where you can show a little bit more personality. Really simple tips for Reels: try and drag people in within the first 3 seconds, because that's what they're going to see when they're scrolling their feed. If they're scrolling and they see a clip of your reel and it's not engaging within the first couple of seconds, they're not going to continue watching. So think of a way you can hook people in within the first 3 seconds, and that can be the text on the screen, it can be what's happening in the video. Really think about how you can pull people in and take advantage of the features that Instagram Reels has. So text on the screen, captions, it will literally create the captions for you. So if someone's scrolling with the sound off, they can at least read it and are more likely to click and view the whole thing. Again, you don't need to be super consistent with the Reels. You don't need to be posting one a day, but the more you post on them, the more likely you have a chance to actually break on there, because it shows Instagram you're being consistent. However, it always goes back to quality over quantity, because if you're posting over and over and over and it's getting no engagement, it's most likely not good content. Really work out what's working with your audience and with new fans. Whether this is covers and you change up the genre, whether this is live performances, whether you like doing skits, think about what you're comfortable creating and try and create a few a week. But again, no pressure. Quality over quantity. Oh, and if you are going to repurpose TikTok content, which is completely fine, make sure you don't have the TikTok watermark. We've seen it firsthand. It literally destroys all views, probably because Instagram have literally stolen TikTok's idea, so they don't want to push that out. The next thing that Instagram are going heavy on is shadow banning people that are faking engagement. So buying followers, buying comments, buying likes. This will not only lead to your ego being massively hurt when you put something up and realize that no real people care, but it will also lead to Instagram blocking anyone seeing your content. So if you're buying any of these things or you're following and unfollowing, stop immediately and potentially even look into starting a new account. It might feel rough if you have like 10k followers, but if only 100 of them are real, if you post on your story saying I've created this new account, they should move across. There's absolutely no point having these fake numbers. We often hear people saying like, oh, but labels will sign me if I have this amount of following on this amount of streams. They have software to see where those followers are coming from. They have software to see where the streams are coming from. If it's fake, there are lot more likely to not sign you than sign you, because they know they're not going to make any money from you. They know that there's no real fans there, there's no potential. So the only person that you're actually pleasing with this is yourself. You're just stroking your own ego. Stories. Stories are still so important. This is one that I would say is more important than any of the other features, because stories are what get your existing audience hooked. And it's the easiest way to promote, because people can directly click a link and go to another platform. So you can push people to Spotify, you can push people to YouTube, you can push them wherever you want if you've got their attention. With stories, this is the only place where you want to be consistent. There is absolutely no point posting one story a week. The reach will be rubbish and people aren't likely to click it. They're probably not even likely to see it because it will be at the end of their stories. So you want to be consistent with these, but there is so little pressure on stories, and I think so many artists forget this. You can literally post a picture of your coffee and then you'll walk to the studio and then you in the studio, then a clip of you performing in the studio. Like, just capture moments throughout the day. And that is the beauty of stories. It's up for 24 hours. So if it doesn't perform well, you've got another chance tomorrow and the day after and the day after. Instagram's not going to punish you for having a few bad days of stories. They are going to reward you for actually posting on stories. So try to be as consistent as you can on here. The example I used earlier, not every artist can do. Some artists have full-time jobs, some artists have children, they have a lot of things going on, so they're not focusing on the music all day, every day. However, you do have other routes you can go down. For example, using text. You can have a black screen and just write out something, and then people might reply to it, and then you have the ability to screenshot that DM and put that on your story, and then someone else replies to it. You can have constant dialogue with your fans, which doesn't require you to be showing your everyday life. There's content in everything you do in life, and that sounds really depressing because it sounds like you have to make content from your life, but it's a good thing because there's content from anything that you do, which puts so little pressure on you as an artist. Definitely use all the features that Instagram stories have to offer. For example, Q&As, polls, links. Take advantage of those because they're there to be used and they're more likely to increase engagement. And finally, with the stories, don't be afraid to repeat yourself. I post about how much I love coffee. You're going to see a picture on my story every single day, maybe even twice, of a different coffee because I bloody love coffee. And that's absolutely fine. It's in line with who I am as a person. And this will work for you as well. If you have something that you do every single day, share it because it's true to who you are. And people are going to get to a point where if you don't post it, they're going to say, I wonder if they did that today. And it should come naturally to you because you're a passionate artist. You love what you do. Show that. I think a lot of artists will be surprised by what I've said today. The idea of quality over quantity. The idea of putting little pressure on yourself. But I think what we're seeing more and more is artists hating social media, blaming social media for their lack of success. But really, social media is just a way of spreading the word about yourself, telling people about your music, telling people about your art, your brand, your story, your messaging. Just because you're not getting good engagement doesn't mean that the social media platforms are the devil. You're potentially just not using them right. So hopefully this video was helpful, and hopefully you can change up your strategy, put a little less pressure on yourself, and enjoy the journey a bit, because the minute you start enjoying creating content is the minute that it actually starts to succeed. You can tell when someone's not enjoying it, which means it's not the right content for you. So enjoy it. Follow this strategy and you will see the results. And if you're really struggling with those content ideas, we get information from TikTok and Instagram themselves, and we put it out to our members every single week. We outline any algorithm changes, new features, and some content ideas as well. So I'll leave a link in the description for that one. I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, give it a big fat like. And if you're not subscribed, make sure to subscribe, and I will see you in the next one.